Today's show is about the one thing I can think of that happens every month, and yet we hide it, we whisper about it, and we call it dirty. We're talking periods. At Cityline, we're big fans of bringing real talk to the table, and we're tired of the taboo, which is why we're going to have some candid conversation and take the shame right out of it. There's a lot of progress happening, but not enough. Let's take a look at the period policies around the world. Call it what you want. Aunt Flo, the curse, Shark Week, we get it. 800 million of us every day, but no period is created equal. You may have heard of it, period poverty. It silences women, transgender and non-binary people who menstruate. In Nepal, it's seen as impure and leads to banishment to huts. In some parts of Africa, schools don't offer anywhere to change sanitary napkins. And in parts of Israel, there is forced ritual bathing before going back to daily life. But if Hollywood can give periods the star treatment, we're getting somewhere. In 2015, Canada removed the GST from all menstrual products. Indonesia, South Korea, Zambia, and Taiwan all offer paid menstrual leave. And then just last year, Scotland was the first in the world to make period products free for all. Time to unpack periods. Let's begin. Tell me if this sounds familiar. One month your period seems regular. The next month it's not there at all. The month after that, it's the heaviest it's ever been. Why do our menstrual cycles change so much? What is really affecting them? I'm joined by Monica Yates now, the period whisperer. I love that title. Welcome, Monica. I want to get right into it. Good to have you. Now, how does our cycle change based on stress?
Yeah, so stress can be something that's, come up for many different reasons. And something that I've seen a lot with the pandemic is women's periods going absolutely haywire, mine included, for different reasons. And it can be because of trauma-related stress. It can be from stress from work. It can be from stress from you exercising the wrong way and over-exercising for your body, not eating enough, flying, changing time zones, so many different things. And the kind of thing that I really focus on with my clients is how trauma affects your cycle. So with trauma, your body can be eliciting a stress response subconsciously, and you don't know this just in your day-to-day life. And what happens is that cortisol continues to be pumped out in your body, and this affects your cycle. It can delay ovulation. It can cause your progesterone to decrease, which then causes you to have an early period or a late period. It can cause your period to be really heavy. It can cause you to have infertility issues, the painful periods, so many different things. That people really underestimate stress, or they think that stress is only like when I'm really, really stressed at work or when I've had like a bad car accident. And they don't think that, stress from your childhood that you've forgotten about is actually causing you to feel stressed right now. Or they don't realize that little things that are happening in your relationship, for example, are actually affecting your sleep cycle, and that's causing your body stress. So it's all those kind of things.
And I think it's pretty safe to say stress levels are very high right now for most of us, and not just women, transgender men, non-binary people, all of us having our periods affected by this. So we've been living in a pandemic for some time now. Can you elaborate how our cycles have been affected because of COVID-19?
Yes. So there is something called COVID fatigue, and I've had it. That's why I've moved here. Like, I'm just over it. A lot of people have had it. And as a result of COVID fatigue, it's just basically we're all exhausted by the decisions that we have to make, the unknown. A lot of us are really homesick. We've been separated from our family and friends a long time. We don't know what's happening. And as a result of the unknown, our body doesn't feel safe. And when your body doesn't feel safe, your biological system, that primal part of your body, is thinking that there's a famine happening, or, you're running from a saber-toothed tiger, even though that's not actually the case. And so you're constantly having a stress response. And a lot of us have become so used to it that we don't know. And if you think about it, a lot of people, we've got stress in our relationships, stress from work, stress from family, stress from traffic. And COVID-19 is just that straw that broke the camel's back, and it's just tipped us all over the edge.
It's almost scary how good we get at pivoting to take that normalize that kind of pain. So am I reading this part right? Past lovers can affect our menstrual cycle? Really?
Yeah, so I focus a lot on energetics in my work. And I mean, not to be woo woo, it's just physics, is really all it is, right? And as a result of being in different relationships, us women, because, and transgender, it doesn't matter, we receive energy. So when, our partner penetrates us, we actually receive their energy. Even if you're in a same sex relationship, when you're around someone all the time and you're receiving their energy, you can take on their energy. When I use tampons, or when someone uses tampons, they actually have periods that are more painful. And it's because if their body is trying to energetically release something, the tampon's actually stopping their period from just flowing. And this is why it can be really beautiful for you to use the menstrual cups, for you to use period underwear, so that the energy can flow out of you. Because at the end of the day, that's all that energy has been growing inside of you for that whole month. It's that creation, and then you haven't needed it, and it's that death time in your cycle where you get to release and renew yourself. And so the more that you actually allow yourself to really use your cycle, it will allow you to release past lovers, it will allow you to release past situations. And if you aren't doing that, then you can be holding on to that person's energy, and it can really affect you, and you probably don't even know it, that it's affecting you.
So interesting. We just need to bleed it all out. So we're going to be talking about some of the products you mentioned, the period cup and period underwear, a little bit later in the show. But thank you for that, Monica. It's so empowering for us to actually understand what is going on with our periods.